How's it going, guys? This is Ketchup here once again, and once again we're going to be doing a bit of a collab. We're going to be working with Usedforglue to go over the smoke variation of Triborg. Obviously, Mustard and I don't play smoke or cybersub, and Usedforglue does actually play both variations. So instead of sort of learning stuff online and running through these variations ourselves, we definitely figured it'd be a better option to get Usedforglue in. So I think, to be honest, once again, Glue, thank you very much for being here with me running over this variation. I'll let you run with it. Once again, what is smoke? Why would you pick smoke? And what is this variation designed to do?
Well, this variation, outside of anyone's opinion, he's a Vortex character. Essentially, that's where he gets his damage. That's where you're going to make up damage when you're playing against people, and that's the core design of his gameplay. It's totally Vortexing.
Okay, cool. So by Vortex, obviously this means that he's gonna stun you and put you in like a guessing situation where the guess comes from back 3, which is low, or back 1, which is overhead. And once again, before we get started, just to kind of let you guys know, Usedforglue is on a laptop microphone, so when he actually does the setups, you might hear a little bit of clicking coming from his microphone. That's just him pressing the buttons. Unfortunately, we don't really have any other microphones available for it, so it should be pretty fine, but yeah, no problem. So yeah, so first things first, I think to sort of demonstrate his special moves, what moves he gets as smoke, and basically how do you implement those mid-combo to kind of apply, I guess, the setups that only smoke is capable of.
Okay, well, I'll go over his specials. The first special is the fact that he can spear. That drags you in for a combo. Same as the smoke bomb, which have three ranges: close, on the opponent, which tracks, and then behind the opponent. Behind, close, and on. And that'll launch the opponent for a combo. The other one is teleport. That can be done in the air also.
And it is an overhead as well.
It's an overhead, and it provides what's called a hard knockdown, which means the opponent can't tech roll.
Meter bomb on launches, doesn't it? Applies for a combo afterwards.
For a combo afterwards. Yeah. Which I can't do right now, I don't know why. Which is always the case. The next one is he's an air throw, which if you're jump kicking somebody, you press down and block, or down and throw, and he'll do the air throw.
Is there any reason you wouldn't sort of do down and throw after every jump kick just in case it connects, or is there a negative to doing it? If I block the jump in and you do the grab, is there a negative to that?
Well, I don't think there's any real negative to doing a jump kick throw, but it's in point of, more often than not, when you're crossing over an opponent, a lot of punches will whiff on a crouching opponent, where a kick tends to hit, and then a lot better, I think. I use it primarily for crossing over the opponent. If I think they've got a small hitbox, I will normally jump kick over them and throw them, and then I can choose to throw them right.
Okay, cool. So by jumping over them with a kick and buffering that air grab, it kind of eliminates the threat of your jump in accidentally whiffing, as it can do sometimes.
And worst case scenario, if you just block and I do, jump kick throw, nothing happens. The throw doesn't come out like it normally would there.
Yeah. So there's no reason after a jump kick you wouldn't do grab just in case it connects, I guess.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I guess that's almost, and I guess the only move that's left is a smoke away, right?
Well, the other utility moves he has now, which they're not attacks, is this stealth and invisibility. I'll go over them in a little second, and then the major move you need to get down is phasing away and phasing forward.
Now there is a pretty important property to the meter burn smoke away, I believe, and what is that?
It's totally invincible. And what that means is that he doesn't have an armored move. Like nearly every character in the game has an armored move. Smoke doesn't have armor, but for me, he has one better. He has invincibility, which means that in contact with other armored moves, it will just pass straight through them.
Well, if I were to sweep you and then pressure you with this, for example, you could smoke behind and then whiff punish me. So you could definitely do that and then whiff punish me with forward 1-3 smoke.
That's the main crux of his game, is that when you knock him down, you've always, instead of just him taking that attack, when you knock him down, you've got to be careful. He can just phase forward. If you want to be greedy, you can phase forward and then blow him up with a comp.
And that was a full whiff punish as well. Like that's one step above the armored reversal in that. Yeah. I've committed to a string meaty on your wake up, and you're able to full combo me rather than actually just hit me with armor.
Of course, the next level to that is the opponent knows that you're going to phase. So what would happen is if Sector did a sweep and baited the phase, I can block also, but he can bait. You could stand completely still and try to punish that. But if I want to be greedy, I can phase forward, but I can always phase away. Always phase away. And it takes no stamina, which means that I could phase away. So that's a meter burn phase away, and then phase away again, and I've still got a bar of meter, so to do, or bar of stamina to do 3 phases essentially. So he can
Mortal Kombat 9 style.
He can always get off the ground. You've always got to respect him, and if you don't, he can always just phase through you. You know, so which I'm trying to do, and I can't get it out for some reason.
We'll try one more time.
There we go.
Yeah, and then that's a free whiff punish into full combo into what we're probably going to be going into next, which is actually his Vortex. So basically, Smoke, his Vortex, as you saw right there, basically leaves the opponent restanding. And when the opponent is forced to take a standing mix-up, Smoke does get a lot of freedom there, involving his smoke away, involving a lot of his standing normals. The unique normals that Smoke gets access to in this variation, the 2 good mids, which we really sort of need to elaborate on. Smoke does get some fantastic mids in this variation.
Okay, well, the reason why I kind of like Smoke is the fact that, apart from talking about what I do with him, is he has 2 great mid attacks, which are we'll go over the one that's, I guess it's the best one to use, and it's going to be your go-to is back 2-1, which is that. Now the beauty about that string is that if that hits and you hit confirm that, you can go into spear like that. On block, if sector blocks, I can always just phase away.
Okay, so you're safe after that as well.
Totally safe. I don't think there's a move in the game that punishes me for that, where that's just, you know.
If it hits, you lead into a combo, into, you know, knockdown or whatever you want to do.
And then after his combo, he's granted this. So you have two choices, really, just really quick. If you finish a combo with this.
Oh, sorry.
You're finishing your combo essentially with this. If you want to get you can finish with that, which is hard knockdown, and it's right in the space where his 50-50 is going to land, or his other strings. Or you can finish with the throw and then maybe get a little bit of stealth going. Now, I wanted to talk about the stealth earlier, and what that does is that seems like it does nothing, but for some reason the psychological thing, what it does to the opponent psychologically, tongue twisting, is they seem to get tied up to the fact that you've done this, and they kind of don't want you to do this for some reason, and they get panicky, and then they just start coming into this little dead space. So you can experiment with it, but generally it kind of does the opponent's mental game. It sort of tests in that way, and I don't know why it's such a simple move, but for some reason opponents panic when you do this. I can't understand why, but they just do. But anyway,
okay, cool.
The other string we were talking about, the other string is this, which is forward 2-1. Right. This is a full combo string. It's exactly like this one. If I hit them with this, I can go into smoke bomb. I can go into spear. I can go into all the moves that launch. On block, you have options. So if sector blocks, he can do a delayed sort of low from the string.
Okay.
Which is really the only other option, because if you just crouched neutral after that string, this high will go over the opponent. So you've got to be careful using that string entirely.
Okay.
The next level of the game is if you try to poke after this string, okay?
Oh, I see, yeah. So you can bait a poke and then go the smoke bomb to blow that right
Exactly.
up.
And once they expect that you're starting to throw stuff out after that, if you block, you can always get a bit chancy by letting them just coming out of the smoke, because it's actually kind of hard to see him.
Yeah.
Not that I'd recommend doing this, but I can't even see, if you block low, I can't even see him teleport out of that string.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to do that, you could, because you can't see him. So, and you absolutely can't see a phase away if you block as well. So you can't even see him do that. So those are his best strings that he has. The other...
Okay, so we've gone over the specials, we've gone over the strings. Let's really get into the bulk of this video now. Fundamentally, we've gone over everything. The Vortex that Smoke's going to implement and get the bulk of his damage from. Can you please demonstrate some ways you can basically combo into him practically, and then end in this Vortex restand, which guarantees a guessing game situation back into itself?
Okay, well, if you finish any combo you want, you restand them in a spear into 3 phase forward. You can do that from any combo that you really want, like this. Now, That's 36% damage, and because every time you do 3 phase forward, this is on. You have to block the 50-50. You cannot armor. So when the opponent knows that you have to block the 50-50, you can cash out damage with a throw for 12%, which brings you up to 48% because you made a mistake. You know what I mean?
And it's almost like the grab. It's very risky. The opponent will try and tech that throw because if there's an overhead or a low coming and they're trying to tech a grab, then they're going to get hit by either.
They're going to get hit by the 50-50, and you can do whatever you want from that. If you try to block, just block after the vortex. Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll block standing.
So you have to block this 50-50, and I'll explain it a bit more now in a little second. The low to smoke bomb is always going to combo. It's always going to combo. The overhead to smoke bomb, if sector blocks after the overhead, it won't. Which means you have to spend the meter on your meter burn smoke bomb to combo. Now, the good thing about that is these meter burn smoke bombs are +8 on block. Now, the opponent can always armor before and after these smoke bombs. So before anybody starts saying that this is broken or this is too much, sector can armor before and after those. So even if he can armor before it, like that, and afterwards. So there's always an escape, always an escape. But then this brings another level to the game where if I think that every time he blocks a meter burn smoke bomb, he does armor, I can just, well, he's punishing that. So if you block, so what I'm saying, because I'm +8 after the smoke bomb, I can take strings after this. But if I know that he's going to armor, I can block
and then punish me with a full combo.
So it's not as simple as getting your free advantage frames and then just taking a 50-50. You can now have another level to that in which you bait the armored reversal out of the opponent. So that's the way to think about it. It's not free. You have to really think. But it's completely playtime whenever the opponent has no meter. When the opponent has no meter, you can do stuff like, I don't know, if you want to block low, you can do stuff like that. So you can now do 50-50 into 50-50.
That's everyone's favourite right there. So basically, Smoke's all about the neutral, establishing the neutral with his strong mids anyway. I assume you can check the opponents with those smoke bombs from far distance. And if I do get caught by anything in the range, then, you know, there's always the way that any touch with smoke, I'm assuming, can be turned into this vortex, unless you start the combo with the sphere.
It can be, right. The main thing about his game is the smoke bombs are, like I said, they're close on the opponent and far away. Okay? Now what it means is that if you have an opponent with, and this will be matchup specific, if you have an opponent that likes to throw projectiles constantly, so if you just do, I don't know, a couple of rockets, just keep firing rockets, and you have options to instant teleport if you to punish that, which is always something.
And if you meter burn, obviously you'll get a full combo from that.
But what you can do is you can try to trade with the opponent, and now Sector has an advantage where his will knock me down. Other projectiles won't. Now that's a hard knockdown as well. So
yeah, Sector's missile. This is an exception purely because Sector's missile is a hard knockdown, so this trade won't apply. Okay. But if it's a regular projectile with regular hit stun on it, then you can actually trade with this smoke bomb and lead into a full combo anyway.
Now one of the things I like to do against grounded opponents that don't have projectiles is I like to throw the smoke bomb in front, because if you just try running, it's going to hit you. It's going to track to your running.
Oh wow!
So if I was just to throw a mid one normally and you were to run at me full screen, I'm just going to throw a mid one. It's going to go past, but the close one will track no matter where he is. So if you have an opponent that just gets bored in the neutral all the time, they kind of get bored with you sort of sitting in this space and sort of dominating this space here. They just try to run in. A close smoke bomb will check that run all the time. So people are kind of confused as what to do with the smoke bombs. That's what you do with the close one. You try to check an opponent's run by just checking it close to them, and then you're back into.
And obviously that smoke bomb could also lead into a restand vortex situation. So I mean, that's, to be honest, fundamentally that's kind of the real basics of smoke. I mean, just we've gone over the specials, we've gone over how you can sort of utilize those specials and the extra strings that he gets access to. That restand we see right there, back into a mix-up situation. I mean, that really is the basics of smoke. I mean, before we sort of tie this up, is there anything you'd like to add to this? Anything that we may have potentially missed?
Yeah, he is a vortex character, so it means you have to land your combos in order to get the vortex started. But really, if you're kind of rushing people down with smoke, you're not utilizing the character's tools the best. This little space here, where this normal can occupy, right? This is the little dead space you want to.
That's got the range of my back too as well.
You want to put the opponent in that all the time. You want to put them in that. Now you can also do stuff like the beauty about this normal is if you whiff that, you can come out of something. You know what I mean? So.
Can you special cancel that on whiff?
I will check. I don't think so, but you can definitely cancel out of other moves. But this is how you want to play him. You want to play him in this little space, and once they start getting frustrated, you basically want to frustrate the opponent until they make mistakes, and then once they make mistakes, you want to hurt them. So and then vortex them again, obviously. So,
and obviously I blocked high there, so that's going to combo back into itself.
So basically that's how you play him. That's a basic game design, and you just got to look at the tools the character has and try to ask yourself, am I using them right? Am I rushing people down? Should I be rushing people down, or should I be running away? And to me, all his tools just scream, run away from the opponent and frustrate them.
And then frustrate them even further with the vortex, which everyone loves.
When it's your go, you can, like I said, you can just check people with stuff, and you can just phase away, and you're back to the neutral again. So that's
okay,
in a nutshell, yeah.
So that is Smoke. Thank you very much. I assume we'll be going over Cyber Sub, which is another character that you play, but this was a Smoke overview. I mean, it's kind of these Triborg overviews tend to be a bit longer than our regular ones because there's a lot to these variations. I think NetherRealm have done a really good job really making these variations a unique character. So there's a lot to go over and a lot to discuss, especially now the game's about, a week and a half old. A lot's been found already. So thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time to sit down with me and go over Smoke. Obviously, we'll be trying to do future collaborations with other players for the other characters that we don't play. But for the time being, that really is Smoke. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers for watching. Thank you again, Glue, for taking the time out to do this with me. Stay tuned, guys. Like, comment, and sub for more content, which is always going to be on the way because we like Mortal Kombat a lot. So cheers, guys. Catch you later. Take care.